The Admirals, they're no joke. They're pretty broken, especially with how he handled Admiral Ryokugyu. I think that's how you pronounce it. His intro. And I think the community is finally deciding to accept their strength. And I did a video where I compared the Yonkos versus the Admirals and their strength. And I'll leave that in the description. But this video is going to be primarily talking about the Admirals. The community, they had it like this: the Yonko were the strongest, then the commanders, and then the admirals were. I disagree. And I believe this is because we rarely got to see the admirals. We only got to see them really in Marineford, and that's when the commanders had a lot of shine. That's when Whitebeard had shine, Shanks had shine, etc. And we saw a lot more of Yonkos. We saw Whitebeard, Big Mom, Shanks, Kaido, and I know he's not an admiral, but he was on the level of, well, I know he's not a Yonko, but he was on the level of other Yonko and even surpassed him, but Roger as well. And in terms of, I don't want to say like power system, but I guess you could say power ranking, and this is before the SSG that were made by Vegapunk were, I guess you could say, introduced, because technically I guess they still haven't been introduced yet. But how it worked was they had the warlords, and who helped balance the marines a little bit because of how influential Yonko's crew are, and then there was 4 admirals and 4 Yonkos, so we can speculate that 1 admiral equals 1 Yonko. But that's not how the community saw it. The community said that 1 commander equals 1, maybe even 2 admirals, and that 2 admirals is equal to 1 Yonko. So it would take 2 admirals to defeat 1 Yonko, and I thought that was blasphemistic. And I've said that. I said that on YouTube, I said that on TikTok, and a lot of people got mad, called me biased, called me an admiral fanboy. But now I think we're starting to realize that admirals are actually really strong, which to me was kind of common sense, but it is what it is. But with Admiral Ryokugyu, with his introduction, that man had one of the best introductions in One Piece. When he went to Udon, he wiped out all the beast pirates. And to put this in perspective, a lot of our characters struggled with them, or it was an extreme diff fight, and he defeated Queen and King. Now, I find this a little bit hard to believe that they didn't have sea prison cuffs on, because let's be honest, the guards that are watching over them in Udon, they would be able to overpower them if they transformed or even if they fought, because, well, with how strong they are, right, you would need somebody on the level of like Zoro, Kid, Law, pretty much all of the alliance. Like at least 1 or 2 of them would have to stay at watch. So to me, it doesn't make sense that they wouldn't have something hindering them in the fight. But I'm not going to say they weren't healthy, because they had 7 days. I just personally think they had sea prison cuffs on, and I could be wrong. Somebody could correct me. But also another thing that was really cool was the fact that he beat people with billion-berry bounties, and he said it so casually. He said, with my rank, I'd lose face if I lost to bozos like you. And this showcases how he has superiority over them, and he truly believes, and he showcased that he is stronger than him. He showcased a little bit of his double fruit with Udon. Before he came, it was barren, a wasteland, and now it's flourishing with a green paradise. And it takes a lot of cojones to say that he's getting ready to take down Luffy, especially after that they just defeated 2 Yonko. He walked the walk, and he's talking the talk as well. And so 2 emperors falling, the commander's falling, and he's pulling up on his own. He said he wants a warship, but you know, they're not bringing another admiral, it's just him. And when it comes to bounties, being over 100 million was a concern, and then like Jinbei said, being over, once you hit 300 million, it's really hard to increase after that, and 1 billion is crazy. So him defeating those 2 is impressive, but pulling up on Luffy solo without any other help, like I said, it is ballsy. I'm a little concerned because the alliance is strong as fluff. They have Luffy, Zoro, Yamato, Law, Kid, Sanji, Jinbei, Killer, just to name a few. So going against all of them at once, it's suicide in my opinion. But this is the first time we've seen an admiral as the underdog. Look at Aokiji when he pulled up on the Straw Hats when they were going against and protecting, well, when they were protecting Nico Robin. They were overpowered. Look at Kusaru as Sabaody, right? So, an Admiral being the underdog, when I think the best thing is when Luffy and Zoro, they were like, we trained 2 years. What's there to be scared of? What's there to run for an Admiral anymore? And I like that the series has shifted where the Admirals have to do more and prove a little bit more and challenge themselves, because it was too easy at first. So Admiral Ryokugyu, his introduction was fire and really amazing. I believe at Marineford, during that arc, we took a small sample size and ran with it. We got a little bit happy when we saw, because what Kusaru did to the Straw Hats at Marineford, knowing that they took down CP9, Crocodile, and other members that have been destructive in the world and proven in the One Piece world. When we saw that Kusaru took the Straw Hats down so easily, and then Marco sitting up in here could fight with him on what was portrayed as equal terms, that he could clash with him. When Zozu, I believe he made Aokiji bleed, I think the community was on that, oh, well, the commanders, they're just strong. Where when you look at what happened, when Whitebeard had a heart attack and he was losing focus for a second, the Admirals, they turned the situation around. They took advantage of the chaos that was happening. Marco got handcuffed and he was shot by Kusaru. Jozu got frozen, lost an arm, and Whitebeard, he got punched through the chest as well. How shonen works is, the later the series goes, the more difficult and stronger opponents that you'll face. And I think Kaido's an exception for this, because he did get jumped and there was a lot of like circumstances that had to happen for him to lose. But the Admirals, they're going to showcase, one, their awakened devil fruits and how strong their Logias are, and two, their awakened advanced versions of Haki, advanced observation, conquerors, armament, etc. And I talked about awakened devil fruits, but the Admirals already have broken devil fruits because most of them are Logia. Akainu, he has the highest offensive devil fruit power. He competed against the strongest man. I'd say it was an even fight. And Whitebeard was filled with rage, filled with adrenaline in that fight, which only boosted his strength. Akainu, he, even after experiencing Whitebeard's blows, he wasn't down for long. He wasn't unconscious. He got up. He chased Luffy. Then there was Jinbei who tried to stop him. Crocodile, Vista, Marco, they all tried to stop him. They weren't strong enough because this man kept pushing, where only somebody on the level of a Yonko could stop him in Shanks. Kusaru, he displayed that he's the fastest in the series and that his strength is nothing to slouch. I mean, look at how easily he dismantled the supernova. And Kusaru, the only thing that like hinders him is his lack of wanting to really do any work. Aokiji, he competed against Akainu for 7 days. Granted, because their devil fruits, one's magma, one's ice, I think that played into why it was such a long stalemate until Akainu won. But still, Fujitora, with the gravity that he has, that's an issue, and he didn't even display what he can really do. The only thing he did was showcase he can bring down meteors and make somebody a little bit heavier. Plus he has swordsmanship skills, and so seeing what he'll be able to do later in the series, I can't wait for that. And I'm Ryokugyu. This man has a plant-based devil fruit, which I said a lot reminds me of Groot. He has a sword as well. So these Admirals, they have some broken devil fruits along with different skills at their disposal. Going back to Marineford, the Navy, they achieved their goal. They killed Whitebeard, they killed Ace, and you could say the Whitebeard pirates that they technically failed in their goal to retrieve Ace. I mean, I guess another goal that they got was unleashing a new era and saving Luffy, who inherited Ace's will, but that's kind of a little bit of stretch. Their true goal was to go and save Ace. And at Marineford, with the manpower that they had, it took everything that they had, because they had 3 so-called Yonkos and their crew there. I mean, Blackbeard wasn't one yet, But, you know, after Marineford, 2 years passed, he became a Yonko, so he had to threat. So they had Blackbeard, they had Vista, Marco, they had Jozu, Shanks, Ben Beckman, healthy crews that pulled up. So I can understand a weakened Navy not wanting to fight because of how strong the crews, all of them together, how strong that they are. But post time skips, the Marines, they certainly got stronger, I believe. Jinbei said that the Marines are the strongest they've ever been under the leadership of Akainu. But this has nothing to do with the Admirals, I guess, kinda. But it's like former Admirals, former Fleet Admirals, and I guess Garp with an asterisk because he could have been an Admiral if he wanted to, but he would have to serve under the Celestial Dragons. I think in their prime, they're easily the Old Man Trio, Sengoku, Rayleigh, and Garp. They're easily top 5, top 10. But I think that the community, they overrate them a little bit. When you look at the fight against Kusaru Rayleigh, he was sweating. You go back to Ennis Lobby, you see Garp when he tried to throw the cannonball. It went by pretty quickly, but he said that he lost some of the firepower or the strength that he had back in the day. And the commanders, they can compete against these top tier characters. They can hold them off temporary if need be in order to let them get away. Look at Marco going against Akainu, delaying him. Look at Zoro, Conquest of the Sea. Yamato going against Kaido, and there's other acts that happen, which is why I still find it hard to believe, not that they lost, but that they lost so easily with like being Billion-Berry bounties, not having if they didn't have Sea Prince stones, then maybe I'm just underrating the Admirals a little bit, but it is what it is. But these commanders, even if they were to go against Admirals or top tier characters that they can't win, they're strong. But these top tier characters, specifically the Admirals and the Yonko, they're just built different. The Admirals have also displayed countless of times that they've held back. Fujitora at Dressrosa, he didn't want to really capture Luffy, he let him get away. Aokiji versus the Straw Hats, Kusaru, that he doesn't take his job seriously. The Marines, they're like really strong, but because there's so many pirates, it's so much easier to be a pirate than it is to be a Marine. And so there's so many pirates going around that the Marines, they just don't have the manpower to spare, which, well, Ryokugyu, he said that. And the world's a mess right now. We know everything that's going on. So in terms of strength, I'm taking an average pirate strength over an average Marine strength any day of the week. I am finally happy that we're starting as a community to recognize the Admiral's strength. And maybe it's because we're getting a larger sample size than what we've gotten in the past. Maybe because 2 Yonko have fallen and now they're off the pedestal that the community put these Yonko on. They had them as these unbeatable people, but that's not necessarily the case. And now that different emperors are falling, now it's time for the Admirals to get more shine. But let me know how you guys feel about Admirals in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so you never miss out a new video from me. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok is on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.